Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Becoming Sound podcast. I am Krista Zaft, your host, and I am so grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with me today. If you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the podcast world. I'm glad you joined me. Just a reminder, please click on the follow button if you are listening. I would really appreciate it. It really does help to boost the content of my podcast, so I appreciate it very much. So today we are diving into something that hits deep for a lot of us, especially the overachievers, the perfectionists, the people pleasers, and those of us who grew up feeling like we had to hold it all together just to survive. Yes, we're talking about asking for help. Yikes. If that phrase makes you feel twitchy and squirmy like it used to for me, and your inner voice just says, nope, I will figure it all out on my own, well, buckle up because we have got some serious unlearning to do.
Welcome to the Becoming Sound podcast, where we dive into the tough stuff and try to find the humor in the hot mess of being an adult child. Join me as we peel back the layers on growing up in dysfunction, navigating substance abuse, mental health challenges, and everything in between.
We're going to cover today 3 of the biggest reasons why asking for help is so damn hard for us. So let's start with the mother of all myths, the one that's been baked into our bones since forever, and that is asking for help means I'm weak. It's very natural from an early age that we are taught that independence is the goal. But somewhere along the way, we adopted the belief that strength means doing it all on our own and putting on a calm, warm smile while we're at it. But let me paint you a picture. Who in this scenario seems to be more together? The person who refuses help lifting their bag into the overhead bin ends up clocking themselves in the head and delays the entire boarding process for everyone while turning purple. Or the person who smiles, kindly accepts the help, and is chilling in their seats in under 10 seconds, and everything is moving smoothly. Listen, being capable doesn't mean doing it all alone. In fact, refusing help when it's needed is honestly just plain stubbornness. You know what real strength looks like? Self-awareness, efficiency, community, trust. So if you're still telling yourself that asking for help is weak, so ask yourself this: do you believe that when other people ask you for help? Probably not. You probably feel honored, you feel trusted and connected to them. So why do we assume it would be different the other way around? Myth number 2, I should be able to figure this out on my own, aka the do-it-yourself trap. Maybe you've admitted that sometimes it's okay to ask for help, but not for everything, right? Not the inner stuff, right? Like when you feel sad and you're struggling, your first thought is, I should be able to deal with this on my own. Or maybe I am miserable in my job and I should be able to figure out what my next step should be. Does that sound familiar? Here's the deal. We are social beings. We are literally hardwired to co-regulate, to collaborate, to connect with others. Nobody was meant to do this all alone. No one was meant to carry it all alone. Even our caveman ancestors weren't out there solo hunting for bison by themselves while trying to babysit the kids. They divided up tasks. They relied on each other because that's how they survived. We are meant for community. We don't get bonus points for doing it the hard way. Knowing when to ask for help, that's the real badass move. So maybe it can look more like this. Your therapist helps you out with the emotional stuff. Your coach helps you out with creating a vision and forward momentum. And a friend brings over a pan of lasagna when your life seems to implode. That's not failure. That is pure strategy. And it's strength at its finest. And let's not forget, help doesn't mean someone actually doing it for you. It means that maybe someone is just being with you while you do the thing. A great example of this would be labor support. Like nobody can birth that baby but the mama. But you better believe that having someone there in the room to hold her hand to give her words of encouragement, it makes a world of difference. We wouldn't want her to do that alone. And that leads me to number 3. And this is a tough one. I don't want to burden people. This is like the people pleaser's personal brand of kryptonite. I don't want to be a burden to other people. Look, I get it. Boy, do I get it. When you've built your identity around being competent, helpful, the strong one, the one who has it all together, asking for help feels like you're breaking character or they won't know who you are. And underneath that is often a fear that if you stop over giving, the love dries up. I can honestly relate to all of these, but I think this one hits a bit more home for me. When you lack a strong sense of worthiness and your self-esteem is not the greatest, people pleasing kind of feels transactional because you crave people to love and care about you. And so you equate that with being able to do it all on your own. But here's the real truth. The people who love you will love you with your needs and all. And in fact, letting someone help you, letting someone show up for you, it creates more connection and definitely more love, not less. But here is a definite truth moment. Sometimes when you do stop overfunctioning, some relationships will fall apart. And that's not because asking for help is wrong. It's simply because the relationship was built on an imbalance. And that can hurt like hell, believe me. But it's also the way we make room for more connection in our life, more mutual connection, deeper connections. When someone helps you, not because they have to, but because they want to, that's intimacy, that's trust, and that is where real connection is built. So maybe by now you're like, okay, Krista, I get it. Asking for help isn't weak. But here's where our inner achiever likes to say, yeah, but this one thing, like there's certain things that I should be able to figure out on my own. Whether it's your dating life, your career burnout, or just trying not to ugly cry because menopause has your life in a complete tailspin. I wouldn't know anything about that. There is this weird belief that unless it's some kind of gigantic crisis, we should be able to handle everything solo. And spoiler alert, that is complete nonsense. And also, it is very isolating. When we hide our struggle and muscle through our fear, we're not protecting people. We're actually robbing them of the chance to know the real us. This behavior leads to feeling completely misunderstood. I cannot tell you how much of my life has been spent inside of this thought pattern. And then you wonder why you feel alone even though you're surrounded by people. So the next time someone asks you how you are and you say fine when you're absolutely not fine, well, you may as well call it what it is. It's a lie. Well-intentioned lie for sure, but it's a lie that cuts you off from the intimacy and the connection, and ironically, the very support that you so desperately crave. And you also think you're keeping people close by not burdening them, but what you're really doing is pushing them away. People actually want to help. I mean, that's how I feel. I want to help. And so when people don't ask for my help when I can see that they need it, that I feel like they're pushing me away. And the truth is, it's really easy to believe that your experience is too messy, it's too much, it's too hard to explain, but that belief keeps you isolated in a story that you were never meant to carry alone. The right help isn't about fixing you because you're not broken. It's about walking with you as you rewrite your story. Understand that hyperindependence is not a flex. It is an actual trauma response. That I don't need anyone, I've got it. That's not strength, it's self-protection. It's just wrapped up in nice gold foil pretending. That belief likely came from childhood, especially if you grew up in some sort of dysfunction. It came from times when you did ask for help and you got burned or you got disappointed in some way. Maybe you were neglected, or maybe you were even shamed for asking. So you end up building walls and then a fortress around yourself. And now when someone does offer help, your brain goes, nope, danger, danger. even if the person is trustworthy, even if they are literally saying, hey, I care about you, I want to show up for you. Your trauma brain is just gripping tightly to this independence because it thinks it's keeping you safe. Maybe it kept you safe then. It did the job it was created for. But what about now? What it's really doing is pushing the people away from you that you actually want to support you. So let's talk about some of the hidden costs of overfunctioning, the other side of this coin that we don't talk about often enough. When you overfunction, you're constantly the strong one, the planner, the fixer. You literally have less to give in your relationships. You might think you're being the rock, but underneath it, you're exhausted. Your bandwidth is shot. You've got zero emotional space to listen to your friends' marriage problems or whatever the case may be without this immediate chatter starting in your head. Or maybe you're zoning out because you just feel shut down inside. Overfunctioning drains your capacity for compassion, your patience, even your empathy for others. You're not tired, you're literally just tapped out. And that has a ripple effect emotionally, physically. When you start to ask for support, even in just small ways, you start to refill that tank and refill your cup. And from that place, you can show up more fully for the people that you love and for yourself. So take a deep breath. This one might sting a little. It's because it stung for me. It's not the easiest thing to admit to, but I understand it comes from a place of needing to feel safe. If you're judging yourself for needing help, you're probably judging others for the same thing. And I know you're a good person. I'm a good person. You're compassionate. Me too. But this kind of judgment is unconscious and it's really sneaky. If you've internalized the idea, the belief that needing help equals weakness, chances are that energy is actually leaking out from you onto others and you don't even realize it. Your friends, your partner, your coworkers, they feel that. And even if they don't say it out loud, the more you give yourself permission to need, to receive, to ask for the very help, the more space you're going to create to be a truly supportive and safe person for other people too. It's not just about you learning to accept help. It's about becoming someone who honors the humanity and everyone else's needs. What I need and what you need is some compassion for ourselves. We need to allow ourselves to have some grace and understanding that if we're willing to look at ourselves and address our behaviors and admit that we cannot do this all alone, then we are more capable to create meaningful change in our lives. So here's what I want you to actually hear loud and clear. My fellow strong but tired humans, asking for help is not giving up. It's not burdening people. It is not weakness. It's brave. It's wise. It is a return to being fully human. It's how we move from surviving to thriving. And you deserve that. I deserve that. When you refuse help, you shut people out. You build walls. You stay isolated in a world that is so desperate for connection. But when you say, hey, can you sit with me in this? Or I'm not really fine today. Actually, I could use it. I could use an ear. Or I could use some help trying to figure this out. You actually open the door for real connection, real intimacy, and real support. And I promise you, life does get lighter. It gets richer and way more aligned when you finally stop trying to carry it all by yourself. So if this episode hit you in the gut in a good way, come and hang out on my website, kristazaft.com. I've got a free guide there waiting for you. First of all, it's designed to help you recognize and unlearn some of these patterns of thought that you have, and just to create a life where you feel supported, you feel seen, and actually feel like you can thrive. The links are in the show notes, and if you want more personal support along the way, jump on a strategy call with me. And I'd love to have a chat with you about what kind of support works best for you. You don't have to navigate this alone. I can help get you back into alignment with the life that you actually want. One where asking for help is just a part of your success story. So Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And remember, be kind to yourself. Saying I need some help just might be the bravest thing you've ever done. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining me today on another episode of Becoming Sound. If this episode resonated with you in some way, please share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It helps to get this information out to more people who may need it. If you have a sec, I would love a follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. While you're there, hit the 5-star rating and give me a review. When you're scrolling, follow me on my social platforms, and I would love to hear your comments and feedback. Have a fabulous day, lots of love and gratitude from me. Please note, the views, information, and opinions expressed during the Becoming Sound podcast series are solely those of the individuals involved. The content of this podcast is to educate, inform, and for entertainment purposes only. This podcast series and the content presented does not constitute for medical or other professional advice or services. If you are in crisis or in need of help, please contact your medical or professional provider.